Welcome back to Hawkeye Skunk World. Old habits die hard. Anyway, welcome back to the Hawkeye Garage, and we are back with the Jeep, and I'm getting ready to put the axle in. I got one of those new triangulated A-arm, upper control arm things sitting here, and did a little bit of cleaning underneath and some rust prevention paint. So let's crawl underneath there, get that thing bolted in, and try to maybe start maneuvering this axle underneath the Jeep. Stay tuned. All right, it's a little cramped underneath here, but you can see I've done a little bit of rust prevention, rust repair stuff with some Rust-Oleum, not just paint, it's the actual rust converter spray that I really like. And actually, it wasn't too bad. There were some spots where on edges and hardware and pinch seams and stuff like that. Yes, I know my exhaust is thrashed. Surprisingly enough, it's not leaking, but I'm gonna replace that probably once this gets back on the road. But anyway, it's hard to give you guys kind of a picture of. There's the other lower control arm. Here's this control arm. These are still in good shape, so that's good. Here is the pocket on the driver's side where that one end of that A-arm is going to bolt in, and the other side, you can't really see it because it's in shadow, but it's right in there. I had to bend the heat shield back just a little bit to get it out. So let's go ahead and grab that arm and get it bolted in. I did clean up the hardware a little bit with the wire brush, and we'll go ahead and throw some anti-seize on there, and those are the ends that will go up to the body, the chassis side, and then that obviously is the end that will go over here to the ball joint on the axle. I need to get another bolt because I used the one bolt that I had for something else, turns out. But yeah, shout out to Mrs. HSW helping me move axles around today like a champ. So this axle is actually cleaned up. It's been ground down, painted. It's just really dusty right now. I had the diff cover off, inspected it, got my 2-inch spacers on there, some new hardware already for that sway bar mount. I did also find out this is a 4-ounce bottle of that friction modifier. One bottle of this for the back and 2.5 ounces, so a little over half a bottle of this for the front one. And then I do need to get some lube, probably some 7140, I'm guessing. I have to double check that. I got my little impact driver there just to get these zipped up in there. I won't torque them down until the axle is mounted, just in case I need to wiggle some stuff around. So let's crawl underneath there and get this bolted in. I decided to do this first instead of putting the axle in and then trying to put this in, because I thought it would be easier to fish this in without the axle in the way. Goes in above all of these lines because these lines bolt to the bottom side. Little dead blow hammer action. If you guys don't have one of these, you've got to get one. There's nothing that replaces it. And in. Like I said, I'll snug those down with a 1/2-inch ratchet later on. Now we can go ahead and attach all of the brake lines back up, and then the next thing will just be sliding the axle into place. View of what I've been dealing with. Here's the two mounts for the brake line. It's washing out, sorry. And then we have the there's a bolt back here. That's the mount for the e-brake cable. Same thing over here, e-brake cable, and then the distribution block for the soft brake line goes over here. And then over to the other side, and these wire looms that you see, those are sensors for the ABS, the wheel speed sensors. So this is where that ball joint will go up and mount there. And yeah, I am really excited for the next step. I don't know if you guys can tell, but you can see now that this is bolted in, how level, my light's dying, how level this is with the floor, that A-arm. And that's what this block is for, to keep all of that as level as possible at ride height. And now the next step will be manhandling, wrestling that Dana 44 underneath. Probably put a jack underneath it. Might have to get an HSW senior over here to assist me, but we'll see. The thing's actually not that heavy, especially without the axle shafts, because the diff, the center section, is actually cast aluminum. So it's not too bad, it's just awkward. So moving on. And just like that, the axle is in. Hawkeye Senior did come over and help me wrestle that into place. It wasn't too bad. We didn't even use that bigger jack. We used my smaller one and kind of set it into place and rolled it up. And then from there, I just wiggled it back and forth. I did, to get it completely into place, I did use both jacks and some jack stands, but it was surprisingly easy. I was worried about getting these control arm bolts to get lined up and everything, but I didn't even have to use a hammer or dead blow or anything. Same with the ball joint one in there. All I did was jack the axle up with one jack and then jack the pinion up to get the right angle for that ball joint. And next step will just be kind of cleaning up these flanges a little bit more because they've been sitting, getting the emergency brake dust shield assemblies all mounted, axles in, and everything else should be really simple, just little nuts and bolts and a lot of anti-seize. Well, a couple of more hours of work later, and passenger side is completely done. Just not hard, just fiddly, lots of going back and forth and lining things up and putting never sees on bolts and getting things put together. So I think really all that's left is we need to put all the brakes back together on the driver's side. We need to, boy, that skid plate is bad. I think I'm gonna have to get a different one of those from a wrecker. Boy, that's bad. Anyway, sway bar needs to all be reinstalled. Like, the brakes are already plumbed. I just need to bolt that all together. And I got the drive shaft started. I need to do some research to find out if the bolts for that yoke are different. There we go. On the Dana 44, they go like halfway. The holes had a lot of mud in them. I cleaned them out. I just may need to chase them a little bit. I need to find out what size that is and grab a tap and clean those back out. I don't think drive shaft is going to be an issue because the Dana 44 is a little bit bigger. So I think that's going to be the perfect length. Hopefully it's not too short even. So yeah, a lot of work done. Maybe not quite as much as I could have gotten done this weekend, but on Saturday we took the 4Runner out on a drive, ran some gravel roads, looked at some nature, had a little picnic, and all around had a lot of fun. So that's what we did most of Saturday, and then I spent most of today, Sunday, cleaning the 4Runner. Anyway, hopefully this week we will get this finished. I can't make any promises though, because we got some birthdays coming up and I need to set my priorities on getting some stuff built and bought for some people, some ladies in the family. Anyway, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the links down below to go over to my Instagram and my Facebook. Follow me there because I post way more over there than once a week. And a lot of you have been following me over there. And a lot of you have been following me right here on YouTube, where this last week we had over 50 new subscribers. That's a record for us, and like almost 150 or so over the last 30 days. So it's been awesome. So other than that, if you have any questions or comments in depth, feel free to email me, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com. Until next week, where hopefully we'll get this buttoned up and take it on a test drive to see how those new gears work out. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Goodbye.